it's a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay. Hey artists and art lovers, it's Alison with another episode of The Artist Couch, and I'm working on this drawing that I still don't have a name for. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of the progress, and you'll know that I will probably be working on this for a very long time. It's very detailed. It's a little smaller than 18 by 24, and I'm very excited about it. So it makes total sense to me to work on this gigantic undertaking while making this video. Today's topic is gonna be my favorite podcast to listen to while making work. So as you guys know, I've talked a lot about how much I love listening to things while I work, and I've done a video on, my opinions on those things, like best TV shows, blah, 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 blah. And I like it better than just having background noise because I feel like I'm still learning something or expanding my knowledge in some way, and it helps me feel more productive. And I prefer it obviously over silence because I cannot sit in silence. I just can't do it. Can't fall asleep when it's quiet. I can't just sit in quiet. So these aren't really in any particular order because they're very different, but I guess number 5 would be The Read by Crystal and Kid Fury. I love this podcast. I love listening to it while I'm drawing, especially because the nature of it is very, it's like comedy. It's easy to listen to. It makes me feel happy. It makes me, just dropped my pen. It makes me laugh. So it puts me in a good mood, which is obviously ideal for creating because I want to stay in like a pretty positive mindset when I'm making work so that I can like put all of that energy into the drawing. And it also, since it's more comedic, I don't feel like I'm, if I drift away for a second, like while I'm focusing more on the drawing, I'm not missing like a plot point necessarily. So that's just some reasons that I really love it. And also just their humor is so on point, and they tackle a lot of issues from like pop culture to like heavier things like racism, and it just really makes me feel like empowered and also happy. So that's a great to listen to while creating. Coming in at number 4 would be The History Chicks. So I was talking about how I like to feel like I'm learning something while my hands are taken out of the equation. Like I still want to feel like maybe I'm an overachiever, but I still want to feel like I'm getting a lot done. And The History Chicks is perfect for that because I realized, I didn't pay a ton of attention in school. It's like a lot of the stuff that I learned I didn't retain, and I've been wanting to learn more history and learn more specifically about important women in history, and The History Chicks is perfect for that. It's just 2 women, and they're going over accomplishments by women in history. It's exactly like what the title says, and they have a great rapport with each other. They're really funny. I think they cover like a wide range of people over lots of different time periods. It seems like they started taking requests, like people started sending in people they wanted to hear about, and they started taking that into account, so it's very cool. And I really did learn a lot. There were people I knew about but didn't know a lot about. There were people I had never heard of, and they don't, like I said, they do like a wide variety, so it's not just like notable women. They also cover some like women who were accused of murder, like Lizzie Borden, just anyone who's like interesting or notable, not just politically or not just like an inventor type say. Like they cover all types of influential or notable women, and I love it for that reason. And they definitely do like some spooky ones around Halloween. It's just great, and that also, it puts me in a great creative mindset because I'm thinking about women who have achieved so much in the past, and it motivates me and puts me in like this very productive mindset for making my own work today. Number 3 is going to be a podcast called Tanis. It's sort of like a fictional documentary. It can be a little dark. It's like a mystery type thing. And I really like it because it feels like watching one of those like crime TV shows or something. Like, I haven't seen Twin Peaks, but I feel like it gets compared to that a lot. So if I'm wrong, it's not my fault. It's just what I've heard, but it's very like mysterious. It's a little creepy, and they do a great job with like the atmospheric noise, the character development, setting the scene, and it always puts me in this very like artistic mood because the whole tone of it is so conceptually strong, and it's so calming, even though it is like very suspenseful, and it makes me think of like cool tones. Like it's very it spends a lot of its time outdoors, so it's very like earthy, and a lot of I love working outdoors. I don't know, something about like the earthiness of it, and like picturing like the forest that they're in. It puts me in that like creative mindset in a really strong way. And I realize I just didn't even talk about what the plot of it is, but it's basically that this reporter, he uncovers a mystery that has like elements of conspiracy, and it's like a little supernatural. It seems like the earth is working against humanity, and it's just not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also definitely not good. And it's just really thought-provoking. Sometimes it's a little goofy because, you know, it's a mystery, so sometimes it's like, really, like, would that really happen? But I really like it. And like I said, since it toes the line between fictional and nonfiction, because it's presenting as a documentary type thing, it's just so interesting. Like, I don't know a lot of other podcasts that do that. So I really enjoy listening to that one while drawing. It's just great for the creative mind. So the next one on my list is kind of different from the previous two. It's called Hybrid Unlimited, and it's by one of my favorite powerlifters, Steffi Cohen. She and her friends just do sort of a talk show podcast where they interview different people who are experts in fitness and I guess athletes, just fitness in general. And it's just really interesting to listen to. I learn a lot, not just about like the exercises that I love, but also about like the human body. And it's great getting different perspectives from all these different people. Some examples of guests they've had are Chris Duffin, who was the first person to deadlift over 1,000 pounds, and he kind of talks about his life story. They've had physicians, they've had people talking about, you know, how weightlifting and working out in general will change with COVID. There's just a large variety, and it just really is very mentally stimulating to listen to. And it's also very motivating because I love fitness, I love feeling strong, and I try to channel a lot of that into my work as well. And again, I love feeling like I'm learning things. So it really also puts me in that like productive, excited mindset to like get work done and like feel like I'm accomplishing something. Like it's really fun. The one thing I will say is that because it's a very serious podcast and they're dealing with a lot of like medical and anatomical terms that I'm not as familiar with, sometimes if I get really into the drawing and I'm like thinking about where I want to place a detail or how the shading is going to look, I miss some stuff and I have to go back, but it's a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay, and I still really enjoy it. And then the last one on my list, which actually is my favorite, is Myths and Legends. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The host is, I believe, Jason Weiser, and he gives his take on so many different myths, and it's incredible because he's like really funny. He's got like a dry humor, and he narrates these myths in sort of like a modern tone, which it's just really funny hearing like, you know, Achilles and Patroclus interacting with each other in like 2020 lingo. It's so cool. He's got hundreds of episodes, and with every podcast I start at the beginning because I have FOMO. I don't want to miss anything. So I've just really enjoyed listening to every single story he has. And like I said, he does all different cultures. So there's Japanese mythology, Chinese mythology, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, Finnish mythology, like everything. And it's all fantastic. I haven't skipped an episode. And again, I love feeling like I'm learning something, and a lot of my work is very inspired by like the art that accompanies mythology, and I strive also to kind of create art that could accompany modern lore and like modern heroes. So it really also, like, just listening to these stories inspires me and also makes me think about the common human experience, because it's fascinating hearing the similarities in all these different mythological characters over all these different cultures. And I would definitely say that's my favorite to listen to while drawing. It just does all the right things. It makes me feel inspired, motivated, creative, all of those things. And again, the only drawback is that sometimes I miss some details when I'm working on my own details, and I do have to go back, but again, it's totally worth it. It's a fantastic podcast. So those are 5 of my favorites. I would love to hear what some of yours are. There's so many other ones that I love to listen to, but I didn't want to make just a list of infinite podcasts. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree, if there's something else you like to do or listen to while you're making work. And I added, I didn't get a whole lot done. It's a pretty short video, but I added in some outlines here, and my method is just to outline slowly across the dress and then add in the shading and the fill in those little lace dots as I finish the outline. So like I said, I'll be working on it for a while, but it's super fun. And I have the podcast to make the time fly by. So again, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later.